YouTube people, let's have a little talk about PSA offers. This has been in the crosshairs over the last week, given the grade flip-flop thing and the conflict of interest thing. And I covered this back when PSA offers, and more specifically, when Power Packs launched. More on that in a minute. You can find the video on the channel back from when they first announced Power Packs. The party line from PSA folks, and just in general, which is technically true, is that PSA is not buying the cards. It is a network of dealers. Courtyard, Cards HQ, Dave and Adams is probably in there. Dick's Sporting Goods is probably in there. I don't know if Backyard Breaks is in there or not. They may or may not be. That I don't know. But some of these companies have publicly talked about that they are in this program. The real design of this program is to feed the repack beast. It is a way to streamline getting inventory to repackers. One of the biggest problems for repackers is inventory. They have to send out a team of people to shows to buy for them. So let's cut out the middleman and just buy straight from PSA submitters. In theory, it's great for us because we send in, the offers pop up. I don't even have to ship a card. I press a button, the money's there the next day. A lot of times the offers are very strong. Sometimes they're not, but a lot of times they are. And in theory and in practice, the system actually works pretty damn good. It's ingenious. Talked about it when I had Nat on a year ago. We had a whole conversation about it. That was just when they were getting ready to launch. And the party line has always been PSA is not buying the cards. Essentially, they are playing middleman. Now, I don't know exactly how the back end works, but the general vibe that I have is that the partners submit what they want at the percentages that they want, and then it's essentially automated from there. And then they tweak. The prices go up and down based off an algorithm, which you might be able to game. There's some stuff on Twitter, but that's not what I want to talk about today. So once again, the key piece of all this is PSA is not buying your cards, which is technically correct. However, and this is the part that I talked about when Power Packs first launched. Power Packs is a repack entity. GameStop X PSA. There's a partnership with PSA. It looks like a GameStop website. It looks like it's a GameStop company. Most people assume it is a GameStop company. However, and this is where things get a little shady. All right, let's scroll down here. Powered by PSA and GameStop. All right. Probably some sort of joint venture, which I'm sure that this probably is. But this powered by PSA and GameStop. Doesn't say PSA is running it, just powered by, because it's PSA graded cards in it. Okay, you can logic that one out. User agreement. Where's the user agreement? Oh, here it is. Here's the user agreement right here. Let's click on this. Oh, that's interesting. It takes you to the Collector's Universe website. Huh. That's kind of strange, right? Let's go a step further. What happens when you look up, because Power Packs is not actually a product sold via GameStop, it's its own company. Power Packs is its own LLC. It is not a PSA. It is not GameStop. It's its own thing. All right, let's look at the LLC information. Here we go. Here is the filing information. Governing agency, California. Huh. Registered in California. Formed in Delaware. That's where the vault is. Makes sense. Primary address, 1600 East Andrews Place, Suite 150, Santa Ana, California. Man, I've shipped a lot of PSA orders off. That rings a bell to me. Principal address for 5 entities. Oh, I wonder what entities also share an address there. Let's click on this and look. Okay, Power Packs LLC, Collectors Universe Incorporated. Power Packs is a LLC registered under Collectors Universe. So, yes, PSA is not buying your cards. However, Collectors Universe is buying some of them through Power Packs. Now, Power Packs is not the only dealer in the network. There are plenty of others out there, so it's not like they're buying them all. But I do side-eye a little bit when they say PSA is not buying the cards. While that is technically true, they are selling some the Collectors Universe. So where you want to draw that little line, I leave up to you. I don't have a problem with them doing the physical repack like that they do with Jeff Wilson and the repack verification. The difference there is it's not their inventory. The way that I understand how the physical repacks work, like the one that Jeff Wilson sells, the dealer, in this case Cards HQ, supplies the inventory to PSA. They send them the inventory. And then PSA packages it all up and sends it back to them to sell. So it's never, the ownership of cards is never PSA's or Collectors Universe in this case. It is neither. It is always under the ownership of whoever is putting the repack together. Power Packs is the one thing. Listen, I have zero issues with PSA offers. I think it's a great program. I don't like that Power Packs is involved with it. That is the one thing that I have always side-eyed. That's why I called this out way back when Power Packs first launched. But I don't think a lot of people realize that Power Packs is a Collectors Universe company. Now, I am sure it is, I shouldn't say sure. I would imagine there is some sort of joint operation in the back end with GameStop, but the LLC is registered to Collectors Universe. It has the same address as Power Packs. They share a building. They share a suite number. So, yes, PSA is not buying the cards. However, Collectors Universe is buying some of the cards. And that, you could see that there'd be a little bit of a conflict of interest there. That one, I don't like. I side-eye that one a little bit. I don't mind PSA offers, but I think they flew a little too close to the sun with Power Packs. I wish Power Packs was a GameStop company, not a Collectors Universe company. Some people won't want to draw the line on that, and I get it. But to me, that would make it better because it is not the left hand selling to the right hand, which in this case, it kind of feels like. But overall, PSA is not buying any of the cards. Collectors Universe is buying some of the cards. I think the biggest mistake that they made with this whole situation was naming the thing PSA offers. I have told them that to their face. To folks that I have had conversations with over there over the year, I have said one of the biggest mistakes you made was calling it that, because I interact with a lot of people that are pretty hardcore into the hobby space and a lot of casual people that are not super into the hobby space. I know people that their livelihood is built in the hobby. That is their day job. And they just assumed, because it was called PSA offers, that PSA was buying the cards. So I don't fault people for thinking that's how it worked, because it's an easy misconception to make. They should have called it something else. Now, Nat had talked on Twitter this week about potentially, and I think this would be a super smart idea. I said they should have called it something else. I think this is even a better idea, that they just show who's actually buying the cards. So when you get the PSA offer, it would say offer from Cards HQ, offer from Dave and Adams, Courtyard IO, whoever else is in there. It would list the specific seller. I think that would go a long way to help clearing this up, because right now, regardless of what you think, whether you have the tinfoil hat on or you live in the more logical camp regarding all the PSA issues going on right now, the bottom line is they have a perception problem. The perception is PSA offers is PSA buying the cards. And you can immediately go to why that would be a massive conflict of interest. They're not primarily buying them, but Collector's Universe is buying some. And like I said, I side-eye that one. I don't like that one. I think they flew a little too close to the sun. But we're in the Wild West. The sports card world is the Wild West. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Do you think putting the name of the buyer would solve a lot of these problems, at least from an optics perspective? Let me know. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.